Hey there, Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog on the Live Sound 101 YouTube channel. In this video, I'm talking about, actually I'm doing a throwback to a video I did August 9th, 2015 about 4 ways SAC can fail. So SAC is a program for mixing audio live, and it's all software based, as the name would imply. SAC stands for Software Audio Console. If you're thinking about using Software Audio Console, I've got a ton of videos that talk about SAC and different things we've dealt with, so definitely recommend checking out some of these. I've got, 100 or so videos, not all of them dealing with SAC, but a large majority of them are, since that's the tool that we have been using for the past couple years. So let me just recap that video. I'll put a link to it like somewhere over here. There, you should see like a little eye on YouTube. So YouTube rolled out a new update where there's like a little eye that stands for information, where you can hover over it on the desktop or click on it with your finger, and it'll bring up links. So I will put a link in that little links area. It's not called annotations anymore. It's called like cards or something like that. So I guess they got it's anyway. I digress. So the 4 ways SAC could fail that I had recorded back in August were: number 1, inadvertently hitting the Wi-Fi switch on the laptop to the off position. If you got a physical Wi-Fi switch, which we did, it was very easy to like grab the laptop and hit that switch by mistake, and that's like game over. You know what I mean? If you're mixing remotely from the floor, the perception for the end user would be that SAC failed. Well, in reality, SAC didn't really fail. The Wi-Fi switch got shut off. But it's something that I'm trying to capture to make sure I get good information about what's going on with the system. So, there's a good explanation for everything. It's not like SAC is failing and nobody knows why, and it's this big, confusing thing. So just trying to capture all the information here. The second thing was connecting to the wrong Wi-Fi. If there's multiple Wi-Fis in the building and you're on the remote laptop and you're connected to Wi-Fi that's not, that the SAC master computer is not connected to, that's going to cause a problem. So that's a simple one. Number 3, poorly configured network, rogue DHCP serving device. This one is a little bit over my head. I'm not 100% sure that this is actually happening, but it seems like there's some funny things happening with network and IP address assignments, and not 100% sure. But that seems to be leading to some problems. And the fourth reason actually piggybacks on the third, which is SAC Master PC forgets its IP address. And I've had that happen before. I'm not 100% sure why. It could be related to some bad DHCP serving happening. But I found if I just close the software and start the software back up again, it would get a new IP address and everything would be happy. So now I'm adding a 5th thing in this video right here. So this happened this past Sunday. David was running audio, and here's what happened. Well, here's the symptom. We had a ringing, not like a high pitched like squealing, like a feedback type of thing, but like of that nature, like way above 10K. Somewhere between 10 and 20K, there was this like, almost like when you go to the audiologist and you put on the headphones and they say, raise your right hand when you hear the beep in this ear. It was like up in like really, really high register, I would say noise or tone or feedback. It almost sounded like a feedback, but it was one of those things where it was like just on the cusp. It never really went to a full like, rockin' feedback, but there was just this little like annoying thing that was just on the fringe, on the cusp, on the threshold of feeding back throughout the whole service. And so partway through, I said, you know what? I can hear this. My wife can hear it. Let's go up there. Even though I'm not on duty, let's go up there and just try to see if we can help out. And we looked at SAC, and let me just cut to the chase here. So that was the symptom. We had this weird thing going on, and I went up and I saw what David was doing, and he was doing everything right. So that was really weird. And what we found, this is the 5th thing here, was that there were multiple instances of SAC running at the same time. So even though he was doing all the right things, so he heard that feedback. Well, actually, he actually couldn't hear the feedback. It was one of those things where it was so high, some people could hear it and some people couldn't. So it wasn't like Wow, that's really weird. So I'm just looking down at my phone, and I realized it stopped recording. So I don't know what's up with this. I mean, one of those things where recording with the phone is pretty handy until it's not, and the phone does funny things. So it looks like I'm still recording now. Yeah, you know what? I gotta turn up the brightness on this so I can even see out of the corner of my eye what's going on. I usually keep the brightness low, you know, to save battery. But anyway, so that's weird. So we had multiple instances of SAC running at the same time, and David was doing everything right. He applied that high cut filter, you know, just to make sure that, you know, to try to cut anything that was happening in the upper register way up there, and it had no effect. And you know, I was there to, you know, sit and watch the service, you know, with my wife, and it's you know, not so much a rarity anymore, but when you're volunteering, being able to enjoy a service is important to make sure you do with your family when you can. So I did some initial troubleshooting, realized it wasn't anything completely obvious, and what I didn't do up there, so anyway, I went back down and sat with my wife. But after the service, I went back up to continue troubleshooting, and what I didn't do, I should have done, was do a Control-Alt-Delete. Now this can be a scary thing when you're running sound, running audio live, but the Control-Alt-Delete actually won't stop SAC from running in the background. So it will be you know, a perfectly fine, healthy thing to do, is to hit that Control-Alt-Delete, but it's a little nerve-wracking if you've never done that before live during the service. So after the service, I was talking with EJ, and he said he ran up on stage right after the service ended and scratched on his little his SM57, which was on his guitar amplifier, and he heard the little like tapping on the microphone. So the monitors were live, and they were live throughout the whole show. And he said, yeah, that's funny, the monitors were live. And I'm like, well, David wouldn't have turned those things on you know, after the service ended. There'd be no need to do that. The band wasn't up there. So that's pretty interesting, because I knew that they were muted. So that's when it clicked that, like, okay, something really funny is going on here. Because we've had situations before where a hearing aid is feeding back. Somebody in the first few rows has like a assisted listening device or a hearing aid that they brought in, and they've got that thing cranking, and that actually has caused some weird, like very similar type of symptoms that I just described here in this video. So we ruled that it wasn't that. There was something funny going on with SAC. So I went upstairs, and David was about to shut down. I said, wait, don't shut down yet. Let's check something out. Did a Control-Alt-Delete, and he had just closed software audio console, yet there was another instance of it right behind. So here's the solution. Here's the solution to the fifth way that SAC can fail. So you've got multiple instances running. How does that happen? Well, here's how it happened. We had a situation where somebody else came in before David got there and started up the system. And we don't know how they did it. They're not necessarily trained to do sound. They don't do sound all the time. It might have been a musician. Don't know who it is. I'm not casting any blame, because you know, they don't know any better. They're just trying to help out and get the system set up, because they happen to get there early. That's why I like to get there before the musicians if I can. But anyway, whoever started up SAC somehow started up two instances, or one was started and then David came in and somehow started a second one. But here's what I found. If you click on the icon, so the launch bar, the menu bar, so there's like a start button in the bottom left corner on a Windows machine, and we've got a little mixer, which is a shortcut button to SAC. If you click on that, everything's happy. That's the way you should start SAC. So when you start up the master PC, SAC launches automatically. You don't have to start anything. The program is just going to be up there on the screen automatically after the computer boots. But you can, if for some reason you need to close SAC and restart it, use that little icon and that little shortcut in the bottom left corner next to the start button. That's the way you should do it. If you don't do it that way, if you hit the start button, you pull up a menu, and you navigate to programs. I'm beginning to think I just talk too much. I don't know why this morning my phone always shuts off on me. I know that there's like a 9-minute, a 10-minute mark where the phone would shut off. I've clearly observed that the phone can go for 10 minutes, or if you're like low on battery or something, it will go for 5 minutes and then shut off. Or if you're super low on battery, it will just like not let you record video at all. But what it's doing right now, I don't understand. Maybe it's because I'm recording the front facing and rear facing at the same time, and it's limiting me as to what I can do. But anyway, I'll try to pick up where I left off. I realized the video wasn't recording. I'm not 100% sure the last thing you heard. But if you navigate to the software audio console through the start menu, don't do it that way. That's all I have to say. Is just don't do it that way. There's a bug in the system. Something is wrong where if you go to the start button and you pull up the programs list and you run SAC version 3.1, everything's fine. But then if you do that same thing again, if SAC is already running, and you do the same thing again, you go to the start menu, you pull up programs, you navigate to SAC, and you launch the program again, a second instance will occur. If you do it again, a third instance will occur. If you do it another time, a fourth instance will occur. And you can just keep on stacking up these instances of SAC where if you've got a microphone up there and you unmute it, it's only going to unmute it in one instance. So there's still 3 instances behind there that the microphone's still muted. You can see how that will cause a lot of problems. So I think that is to blame for a lot of the weirdness. I think the dB levels last Sunday were very high. I mean, I know they were very high because I checked the max reading of the dBSPL meter and it was up there. So I think that could impact it because now you've got 2 instances of every channel coming back through the system, and there could be a potential for some real weird stuff to happen. So I don't know. I don't know why that happens. It seems to be a bug in the system, but just want all our operators to know, people that are what we call audio techs, when you run SAC, be very careful how many instances you have running. If you're in question, if you get up there and the system is on and you're about to go start up SAC, just do a Control-Alt-Delete, see if it's already running in the background. You should only see 1 instance running. They shouldn't be all stacked up on top of each other. Now, if you hit the other thing I would highly recommend is please just use the launch icon in the bottom of the desktop. There's a launch bar or menu bar with a little mixer in it. Use that one. Even if you've got an instance of SAC running, you hit that again, it's just going to pull up that instance. It's not going to make a new instance. So, yeah, we're running SAC 3.1. I know 4.0 is released. We just haven't upgraded to it yet. We should probably just do that, but hopefully problems like that will go away. But anyway, that was actually what was causing. So that really wasn't causing the feedback, but what it was doing was it was preventing the feedback from being able to be stopped. So there was something that was clearly on the cusp of feeding back that whole service, and we couldn't affect it because we didn't realize we were in the wrong instance of software audio console. So now this video is completely long, and I've completely gone on and on and on trying to get my thoughts down here recorded. I'll have to edit these clips all back together again. So anyway, I needed to get that out there and to make a record of it. One of the things I'm trying to do with doing all these videos is to kind of create this drag net to catch all these little gremlins in the system. And if something like this comes up, you bet I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be trying to figure it out. I'm going to be making sure I understand why it's happening, so I know how to explain it to other people, so I know how to stop it from happening personally. So I think of this video database as kind of like a little mini drag net that try to comb over the whole system and find these little gotchas, and just make sure when I'm training new people, I can make sure that they can watch out for that, and so I can design the system to be simpler. It's kind of funny, this did it stop again? No, it's blinking again. It's gonna, it's For some reason, it's got a 5-minute limit. It's blinking right now.